Okay. All right, everyone. Thank you for coming. Today we have Dr. Tony. He is a chiropractor from Upland Chiropractic here to speak to you. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. How are your finals? How'd they go? You're done? Thank you. Right? It's just part of going through school, everything. We've all been institutionalized, right, for the most part. Once you get to your finals, boom, give yourself a week off, let the brain rest, and get back out there again. The marathon continues on, right? Okay. I've been in practice for 15 plus years now. Before that, just a quick background. Out of college, I went to UService at UCR, I got my BS in biology over there. Thought about becoming a scientist, maybe medical school, maybe dental school, whatever it was. I went and taught for a year. I wish we could bring back the stick you could hit with kids with. It was painful teaching. Not my thing. Okay, found out that wasn't my thing. Okay, I don't know if they do that now, if they can do it here or not, I'm not sure. And after that, I became a chemist for Watson Pharmaceuticals in Corona. I didn't realize, I wasn't a great chemist in college, you don't mix water with hydrochloric acid. Why is that? What happens when you do that?
It'll splash and the acid can get on your hand.
Yes, it can blow things up. So again, not my field. Figured I'd do something else after that too. Okay. After that, I decided, okay, maybe chiropractic school might be my thing. As a chiropractor, I help a lot of people every day. This morning, we're open for about 2.5 hours, so about 45 people. We just run my office. Okay. As a practitioner, a chiropractor, I want to see a lot of people to help a lot of people. But to do that with quality care takes sometimes a mindset going into a practice, a mindset you have to train and learn as you get your internships, as you shadow, as you volunteer. How many people now volunteer or shadow intern? How many people? Fantastic. Okay. Why do you think volunteering is important? What do you think? Does that help with your experience versus book knowledge? Does that give you that balancing act? When you apply for med school, for research programs, because you're graduates, you're in graduate school now, when you apply for those things, does that help you in your application? When they see that, hey, I'm already doing something in this field. Or maybe not in this field, I'm doing something else. Because as an interviewer, I do a lot of interviews for schools, for internships in my office too, college and high school based. I want to see what are they doing before. I have high school kids in my office, they come and volunteer, and they've worked at McDonald's. They've worked in retail. I go, phenomenal. They know what boring is. They know what showing up every day is. They'll be here. Not for a paycheck, but for the experience and for the hours. Okay? When they have no experience at all, I go, well, we'll see how they work out. But I want to make sure they understand when they come to my office as an intern or a volunteer, a lot of it is, how can I rely on them? How can I trust them? As a graduate or soon-to-be graduates, how do a school go, okay, how do I know this person can get through my school? How is that going to be possible? By being, if you want to call it, having that experience and also book education too. And obviously passing, everything else got to pass. All right? Going back to what I did after, when I was in school, chiropractic school, which was 1,000 years ago, it feels like, or about 20 years ago maybe, I actually did something different than most of my classmates did. It's a 10 semesters, a program chiropractic school. Mine was out in Whittier, but I lived in Upland the whole time. And by doing that, I wanted to, okay, where am I going to practice afterwards? What's my next step? So my thing was, if I'm going to practice in Upland, where I'm living right now, even though I'm going to school about 2 hours away, 4 hours on a busy traffic day, on a Friday especially, going to Whittier, at that point, I'm going to go and find where I want to go now, almost 3 years before I even graduated. So back then, you guys know what yellow pages are? You guys do? Oh, that's awesome. Wow, it's still alive. Okay. I took the yellow page book, which was like that thick, big yellow book, took the alumni list from my chiropractic school, and married them together. Go, okay, which chiropractors in my area, who has a good yellow page ad, and I'm going to call them and see who's going to allow me to go in their office and just volunteer. I'm a first semester student at chiropractic school. How can I help your office? So I went in there and saying, and out of those maybe 10 people I called, maybe 5 actually answered. Maybe 3, numbers didn't even work sometimes. Out of those 5 that answered, maybe 3 wanted me to come and kind of talk to them, see what they did. Out of those 3, I helped out 2 of them and stuck with 1 of them for the next 3 years. By the time I graduated, I already had a job lined up ready to go. It wasn't that hard. because I'd seen the doctor, met the staff, met the office manager, seen a couple interns go through there too. I knew what they expected. I knew what the doctor wanted out of me. And he was like, when can you graduate so you can get started today? You need the license, you need the state boards, you need ethic boards, so you have to basically pass a lot of things. Chiropractic is 4 state boards. You have to take 4 national boards now, and 1 ethics board too. You have to pass, just an ethics test. So to do that took about 3.5, almost 4 years to do that. So once I was in there, I was getting experience, as you do too, right away. You learn. You ask questions. What else can I do? What else can I do? Where else can I help you? And that was strictly volunteer, not unpaid at all. So when I was in school, come home, change, go and volunteer. Weekends, Saturdays, there's no playtime, you go and volunteer. You go and help more and more and more. And by the time I graduated, again, I had a job hunt ready to go. I was out. A lot of my classmates were just looking for jobs right then. So they graduated, had no income, student loans were basically done. Then what do you do? A year later, some of my classmates still doing nothing. Because they thought I had a job lined up, they had one shot, one person interviewed with, didn't work out, who's next? Once you've graduated, maybe through med school, through research, whatever you want to do, your credibility, I think, because I do a lot of interviews too, goes down as people go, well, how come you haven't had a job yet? You've been out of school for 6 months to a year. Why aren't you working yet? Not what's wrong with you, but why didn't you set this up beforehand? So my job is to make sure my interns, my volunteers are thinking the next step, the next step, the next step. When you can do that, a lot of it is you set yourself up to be successful, because again, you may interview with 10 people. Right now I have interviews 2 for school, but at that point, maybe half will be successful. There's something out there called go for the nose. Have you heard that before? Go for the nose, okay? If you're applying for med school right now, for example, if you expect, say out of 10, on average, maybe 2 schools might accept you, why not apply to 20? Why not apply to 30? So maybe out of the 20, maybe 4 will accept you. If you apply for 1 school, you don't get in, then you're kind of out of luck. So going for no's means when you're going for volunteering or helping or whatever you want to do, shoot for more than less. Expect to get no's. Sorry, that's just the world we live in. You will get no's. But can you learn from that? Can you plan for that and go for more so at that point you get the yeses you really want? Okay? 93 years old, he comes in and he goes, and his daughter calls and goes, look, I'm sending my dad and he's 93 years old. I'm like, oh, is he mobile? Is he in a wheelchair? Is he a walker? How competent is he? Is he mentally? They're like, yeah, he's fine. His neck hurts though. I'm like, okay, neck hurts, but why? When someone who gets, say, in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, I have to be careful when I adjust someone physically and manually. The risk is you can cause injury. I'm touching the patient. I'm moving the patient manually. So I have to move them. So I want to make sure the carotid sinuses are working well. There's no previous aneurysm for 1, 2. There's no blood pressure issues. As we get older, sometimes the arteries will thin out and become calcified. If you stretch those arteries too much, especially in the neck, it can cause an aneurysm, even a stroke too. That's the risk of chiropractic. That's why when I put my videos out, I put videos out probably at least once a month of someone getting adjusted. I get comments like, that looks amazing, like that scares the out of me. So it depends on what your response is. But it gets people excited what we do. Okay, so back to Harvey. 93 years old, he comes in, he stumbles in, he walks, but he walks more like, okay, I'm walking like this. And he sits down, I go, Harvey, how you doing? And he looks at me like a blank stare. So I see his earpiece, or his hearing aid, I go, Harvey, how you doing? I have to go louder and louder and louder, so I'm almost screaming at him. He goes, oh, good, how are you? So his hearing has kind of gone. And he goes, can you stand right in front because it's hard for me to see you? His vision isn't there either as much. But physically, he works out about 45 minutes a day. Mentally, whatever you tell him, he'll tell you, he'll repeat back to you, he's fine. And he keeps his body healthy every day. The reason I talk to Harvey because he's kind of sometimes exceptions to the rule, but you got to figure out where they are, mental state and physical state first, before you even think about treating them. Doesn't matter if you're a chiropractor, DO, MD, whatever you're doing with healthcare. So a lot of it is for me is, okay, he's great. I can treat him. I can be aggressive with him too because he has no previous strokes. He's easy patient. First patient comes in with a walker. can barely move. Rachel, about 5 years ago, I saw Rachel, senior patient too, 70, she was 70, about 70 years old when I saw her, in horrible back pain, both legs pain, but 2 weeks ago she could walk no problem. Now she has constant leg pain, had to walk her, just tears come down her eyes. So I was like, Rachel, what's wrong? Her dog came with her too. So I said, what's going on? She goes, well, I think my doctor said I might have broken my back. I'm like, well, you may not in the right place. I don't do broken backs. They go in the surgeon. I take an x-ray of her back and go, Rachel, your back's fine. X-rays are normal. And she goes, well, my doctor told me not to move, take these medications, because it'll probably make it worse if I move. I'm like, Rachel, if you don't move, you're going to need surgery. She goes, are you right? I'm like, I think I'm right. I do every day. But I have good malpractice, so I don't care. So my thing was, how do I push people? She started walking, and it didn't feel good to her. She was literally cursing at me sometimes. I was trying to get her walking, but over a period of 2 weeks, she goes, well, the pain's gone from a 10 to about a 7.5, 8. So I said, okay, good. Started walking more like, well, now I can walk. She comes in one day, said the walker was just a cane. I'm like, well, where's your walker? Did someone steal from you or something? She goes, no, I can use a cane now. I can have more balance, I have more strength now. And now she walks this year probably once a month. She walks about 1 hour a day, no cane, no walker. But it took her, someone telling her, movement is more important because nothing's broken, nothing's torn. That point versus be careful what you do. Took someone to say that to her versus I don't want the liability of getting her worse. I'd rather take that risk than having her be stuck in a walker, then move to a wheelchair, then move to a bed. Does that make sense? What's the biggest thing seniors worry about? What do seniors over 65, not seniors like in high school or college? Falls. What else? Why falls though? What does a fall do to somebody when they're older? Or wiser, as my friend says. Fractures, breaks, right? Okay. If you break your hip, what's the chances of being 100% mobile? If you're stuck in a wheelchair, about 30%. Okay, so their job is not only not to break a hip, break a bone, whatever it is, but also maintain their independence. That's the thing. That's the big picture. What I talk to seniors about twice a month at a senior apartment complex and also the Upland Senior Center too. And my purpose is to keep them moving the whole time. Hopefully some entertainment too, right? Keeps them busy. Hopefully I talk loud enough for someone because they can't hear me. But overall is keep them moving, keep them moving, keep them moving. Because what happens when they go to their medical doctor sometimes, if it hurts, don't move. Take some pills. I am more the opposite, and call me whatever. I want them moving as much as possible. Sometimes it will hurt. I go, sorry, it's going to hurt. You can say whatever you want to me and whatever language you want to use. But I want you moving so things maintain circulation, strength, and also I tell them avoids rigor mortis. That make sense? All right, you get it? When you don't move enough, things get stiff, causes scar tissue. Over time, that scar tissue turns into arthritis. Ligaments connect bone to bone. If those bones don't move, ligaments connect the bone to bone, they start to calcify. That's arthritis. Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, it matters how long you've had a condition for. I have people coming who've done military service before. 23, 24 years old, 120-pound kid, had to carry a 50-pound backpack for 2 years. He had arthritis in his neck at 23. Not very common because of the stress under his body. So how do you look at each patient individually? Again, walking through what I do every day. At that point, someone who's had that, how do you get them to better state? Okay, I work with kids too. Who wants to work with kids when they're done, when they're in practice in the future? Good. Oh, apologize. Sorry about that. Painful. It's good. It's fun. Kids are a blast, but they need a lot of push sometimes. I work with teenage kids for the most part, some younger kids too, say maybe 7 or 8 years old or older. Younger kids, when they're, say, in elementary school, before junior high, they have self-confidence, they have self-esteem. All this, my wife calls the hormones kick in, they just shut down, they become just irritating sometimes. I have 16-year-old kids, I have 16, I have 25 and 19-year-old kids. So that middle age, junior high, high school range, it's sometimes painful for the parents, for the doctor, for everybody. But how do you get them to learn what's going to help them feel better, gain the confidence, gain the self-esteem? When a kid's in pain, especially if they have scoliosis for 1, 2, which is the spine curves this way or that way, in the spine makes them very comfortable and painful. My job is to help build up their self-confidence and also their self-esteem to make them feel good about themselves. Then I have them do exercises. That makes sense? If I give them exercise to do and they're not confident or they're in pain, they're not going to want to do them. I wouldn't want to do them. I want to joke with them, give them some things to do and talk about, walk some things with them, with a parent in the room, sometimes the parent not in the room, because sometimes the parent's hurtful than helpful to the situation. At that point, hey, we got to do this, man. If we don't do this, this may need to do this, this, and this. You want to play sports again? We have to start doing this. I'm going to send you here. I want you to do these exercises. If that doesn't feel good, call me, let me know, text me, whatever it is too. Let's try something else. But I want you back on the field. I want you to feel comfortable in the classroom, sitting in the classroom. I want you to feel comfortable at home. Especially girls that I see in my office, sometimes the pain turns into anxiety or depression. So I have to deal with that issue too. By looking back at the problem and see where that problem's coming from. If it's a spinal problem, great. If it's not, let's figure out what else it could be. My thing is, whatever they are mentally first, I deal with, and from there back up to where it can affect their overall body. Any questions about that? You guys know what the visceral somatic reflex is? It's a correlation of the organs causing pain and pain causing organ stress. So how do you correlate this? A kid comes in and goes, my stomach hurts every day. I've been taking pills every day, it's not helping. Parents are going same thing, like I'm tired of a kid taking pills, what else can do? So figure out what's causing stress to their body, maybe physically or mentally. At that point, backtrack to make that pain go away. Talked about before too, the hormonal balances, when you're under stress, what happens? Things get thrown off, want that, get that balance back, and then the visceral reflex relaxes so that stomach doesn't hurt. Intestinal tract works better. There's more motility, sorry. I have patients also who suffer from arrhythmia. I'm not a cardiologist. That's way too much schooling and student loans. No, thank you. Okay? My buddy is and he loves it. But my thing is that coming from their heart problem or is there something else going on? So what I do, have you seen a cardiologist? Yes. Have EKG? Yes. Negative? Great, let's work on it. So at that point I go, because as we all know, right, the neck nerves don't just affect the neck. They also run down the back and also run controlling the heart and also the lungs. We knew that, right? If not, you know now, whatever. Okay? So a lot of it is, by doing that, someone's under stress, we talked about stress before, those nerves go back to your brain, cause a chemical neurological response to your supraadrenals. At that point, your hormones change. They make you have arrhythmia because your body's under stress. I had a patient probably 7 years ago. She came in, real nice lady, only lived one city over, so it goes Claremont, Upland, then Rancho. She lives in Rancho, but she worked in the city of Commerce. You know how far that is? In traffic, it's like Egypt, right? It's far. She did that every day for about 7-8 years. And she came out and said, look, I'm either going to quit my job or get some type of help. The heart medication I'm getting isn't working. My blood pressure's still high. I have a lot of anxiety, and I can't sleep. I work all day. I come home, sleep, and go back to thinking either my doctor said quit my job or find another solution. So I start treating her. So again, treating this first. I go, let's take one step at a time. I'm going to treat your spine because I think there's some stress in your spine because her body's like this, right? If you're sitting at a desk all day, if you're driving, say, 2 hours each way to work, at that point, is your body be like this, like, I feel so relaxed? Or you'd be like this the whole day? Which one, A or B? A or B? B, right? B. Okay? So her body was like this the whole time. That makes your spine want to lock up. It can't move. Your muscles will weaken and atrophy and adapt to that stress of your environment, of your posture. So right now, is her chest cavity closed or open? Closed, right? Simple stuff, third grade stuff. At that point, she can't breathe well. So at that point, that will cause the anxiety and stress to kick in, that chemical neurological response and the hormonal response too, especially to have the arrhythmia. No one caught that. So looking at her big picture of not only her, but also her environment and what she did every day, then you diagnose the problem properly. 3 weeks. At that point, 3 weeks, we started exercise the first week. And basically was, she goes, I don't have time. When I come home, I'm exhausted. When I leave for work, it's still dark. I'm like, then don't go walk because it's scary out there. Rancho has a lot of coyotes, a lot of wild animals. Don't go out there, it's crazy. So what happens is, I had her, yeah, what's your lunch break like? She goes, well, I have an hour lunch. Well, what do you normally do? Sit at my desk, watch YouTube, eat some food, maybe go somewhere and eat something. Take your lunch in, make a PB&J sandwich, whatever you have, or some Domino's if you have Domino's from last night, At that point, go for a 5-minute walk at lunch. Because that's it, yeah, 5-minute walk. Just go outside and walk. And that went from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, then half an hour, then 45 minutes. Or she found time to eat her lunch during her breaks, not just her lunchtime. Then she came home and goes, now I have more energy. At that point, I go home and do some more walking. No matter this, so at that point, arrhythmia went from here, a 10, to maybe a 7 or 8 or a 5 or a 6 without medications. So can you find something in the person's life outside your office, outside your lab, whatever you're doing, to give them a bigger picture of how it's going to help them and basically help you help them? Any questions about that? Yes?
So you mentioned earlier that your advice contradicted that of a medical doctor.
Yes.
Does that happen often?
It does sometimes based on what our goals are. Because my goal is once someone's out of acute care where their pain level's a 10, how do you get them to where they go from an 8 to a 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? The medical doctor did a great job to make sure there's nothing broken, nothing torn, there's no tumors, no fractures, there's nothing going on. But what's the next step? And I go, okay, if they've been cleared by the medical doctor, if that's what they need to do, at that point, let's get you to a better health state versus now that you're not in emergency state anymore. Does that kind of clarify it? So I'm not going to contradict them, but I want to know, okay, are you medically cleared to get treated? Great, let's move on to something else. Medications are working for you? Great. If not, if it was me, and your unit feels not working for you, talk to your doctor and see if you can reduce some of those. If that works for you. I tell patients, if you're on blood pressure medication, at that point, let's try our care for a month, then go back and get tested and see if the results that put you on medication have reduced those results. Do you have better numbers now to tell your doctor, hey, look, I'm doing better. Can I get off of these now? So my job, I never tell, I can't tell someone to get off medications or change their lifestyle, change what's going on, but I can change their lifestyle so now their need for that medications might be different. Because realize what I'm working with is someone that does not need surgery, does not need medical care at that point, but now they're here. They're in an abyss where they don't know where to go. And I want them to change them here first, and then get them over here where they stay in a healthier state. All right, so my job is to make sure once they're cleared, I give them things to do at home, like the walking, like the stretching, like doing push-ups, like working out, doing heavier weights when you do heavier weights, so they maintain their own health. My job is to see someone enough so I don't have to see them. Because now I've helped them change their habits, realize what's going to work for them in their environment. Meaning, when I mean environment too, it's not here a room. It's what they're doing when they wake up in the morning to when they go back to bed. Do they have to drive long distance like City of Commerce, like Egypt? Or do they just drive locally? Do they have 2 kids that are small kids that they're taking care of all day long? Do they have a physical job? Do they construction? Do they have a desk job? What's their environment like, and how do we adjust your environment if you can? I give a lot of my patients a note for their office to get a stand-up desk. I want them moving around. They need that, okay? I tell them if you can't change that, what can you do at your lunch break, before work, after work, to get your exercise in? I don't have time like that. No, you don't have time because you're watching dumb shows at night. Do them while you're watching your dumb shows. I don't care. I take my phone to the gym, put my phone up there, and watch it on the treadmill. Adapt to your environment if you want to get healthy. I always tell my patients, my back feels great. I'm good. But what are you going to do for yourself? So I make the patients accountable for their health when they're out of that emergency state. I see people mostly like at a pain level maybe 7 or below, and then get them to where they're 0. And by getting them stronger, does that help them stay out of the emergency state? Does that make them stay strong and relaxed? So once they're there long enough, when you're strong, does your body produce more serotonin, more endorphins? Just say yes if you don't know. If you're doing that, at that point that balance goes from here, because now if you've done that, now you've reduced your cortisol catecholamines, your pain hormones, to now your body can stay at here where you can tolerate more stress. If my hormones are better balanced, I call it better balance, I'm the term or not, at that point you can tolerate more stress, so the work that before used to cause injury or soreness or tight or anxiety or pain, now becomes easy to you. But it takes time to get there. For you guys being in school, feels like probably 24 hours a day, 24/7 hours a day, is how do you find your time for yourself to get that better balance? Because when your body is more in a relaxed state, do you think better? Do you have more long-term memory? Do things make more sense to you? Just say yes if you don't know. That's how it should. If you're human, that's how it should work. If you're Homo sapien, okay. But if you can have that balance, okay, I'm tired, but I still have to do my workout so I can feel that relaxed state. Then I think better. There's a book called Blink out there. It's been a couple years since it's been out. It talks about how police officers, especially canine officers, what they do is they go and get attacked by a dog with all the gear on, everything, all the pads on, right? They want to feel what it feels like to get attacked by a dog. So when they have their own dog, usually German Shepherd, hopefully. My buddy in Scott in Rancho has a German Shepherd. He's a canine officer. I have pictures of him. He sent me pictures of him getting attacked. He was scared to death. It's like the back of a bus, too. It was great. But now he understands how that works. When his dog attacks someone, he stays in a relaxed state so he doesn't overreact. He knows what to do. He stays in that relaxed state, so he knows how to work procedure with the dog, with the animal. So the dog understands his commands, and he can get the whoever person the dog's attacking or grounding, they call it, at that point, them to relax too. Any questions about that? When you're relaxed state in your mind, at that point, your overall body works and stays well. You stay there long enough, relaxed state, you can tolerate even more stress. That's my picture of my patients. How do I get them big picture to understand a relaxed state is by you doing the work every day for your stretches, exercise, and routine, whatever that might be for you, to stay relaxed. Then everything else becomes easier. Relaxed doesn't mean you're relaxed means you're still going to be tired. Maybe still sore, maybe still mentally just like, but what else can you do to get there so you don't where you can't get out of that stress state? And it takes the work you're doing yourself. You're going to have a week off, right? How do you find your rhythm, your rhyme, to maintain some type of routine for the next semester or quarter? How do you guys work? How many weeks?
14.
Yeah, so that's semester-ish, right? So at that point, I don't know, I show up every day. I tell them to go to math class every day, that's all I do. So how do you get your okay, I have my schedule for next 14 weeks. Well, how do I fit in my workouts every day? Or is just home stretching today, maybe some ice, maybe some other things too. At that point, these longer days I have time off, I'll go for a long run, long bike ride, or go to the gym for an hour here. I saw Patty today. She's an OBGYN. She works with her dad in Upland, and I saw her probably about 4 years ago, and just stressed. It's like every day, just beat up every day. She has and her. I see her mom too, and she had 2 twin boys. Yay, good times. Being an OBGYN doctor and having an older daughter too, she's like, I don't sleep anymore at all. But now I've seen her, Orange Theory opened up in Claremont Upland border off 210 and Baseline right there. And when that opened, she started going. And she's gone ever since. About 1 to 6 months now. Maybe more than that somewhere else too. But she goes, it helps relax my body. Because they go in there, they tell you what to do. You just got to show up. They'll give you a workout, right? I don't go. I'll go somewhere else. But at that point, her routine now is, she comes in maybe once, instead of coming twice a week, she comes in maybe once a month now, because that keeps her body relaxed. So my point of that is, what's going to work for you to get your body to relax, stay out of that stress state, out of the stress state, relaxed state. She comes in now because she tells me, I just can't sleep up all night. My nerves are off. That point I'm coming to see you. Great, makes my job easy. She understands her body now. But once you can get a routine for you the next 14 weeks after this next week off, find out a way to keep your body healthy. So at that point, this school becomes easier. That make sense? Okay, went to school, chiropractic school, and good story, bad story, I don't know. The first 2 semesters, you get a lot of dropouts. A lot of dropouts. People just didn't know what to get into. Chiropractic school is a profit school. Sorry, people from the video, if you don't know this. They're there to make money. You get student loans, it pays the school to stay open. That's when they want your body in the seat. The problem is you don't pass your test, your board, especially state, or I think the first state boards. At that point, you don't get dropped, but you have to get pushed back a semester, another 14 weeks for you guys. That would suck for me. I said, I got to pass, or something's going to happen. So people would drop out. Me and my buddy, Louie, he's from Spain originally, but he went to Florida University. We sit in the back and go, there's another one, there's another one. They would just drop like flies. Start crying and blah, 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 just leave, never come back. And unless you come in prepared, physically and mentally, to do what you want to do, it's going to be hard to get through. And now is probably the last time to get yourself ready to get into the next step where you want to do maybe med school, lab work, whatever it is, how do I get there and stay there? Because my thing is too, when you become a chiropractor like I did, 5 years after practice, half my class is doing something else. Why do you think that is? Either they didn't really love it, I didn't really love it until I got out, but also the business side too. Realize it's a combination of both. You have to have that balance in your life. So I go into my office, sometimes stressed a little bit, but not like I'm exhausted, blah, blah, blah. But it's something to where I go in looking to help the patient, not because I have all these other problems on my plate. I try to keep my life balanced, we talked about earlier, my life, my family life, social life, physical health, whatever it is, balanced. So I go into my office, it will beat me up sometimes, but I can walk away and the next day I'll do the same thing, because I have that prep, my own personal prep, mentally and physically, so I'm there for the patient every day. People don't understand that, so when they go in an office, they have to have, they don't realize if you see a patient every day, and what do patients tell you? How good their life is? They tell you their problems every day. It's like painful sometimes. So you want to make sure you're ready for that mental abuse every day to walk away from practice and go, okay, lock the door. I'm sorry for Jennifer having the problem. I'll see you tomorrow. I give every patient on my card too, is my cell phone number in the back. No one ever calls me. They don't like me, I don't know. But my thing is, I give them the opportunity, hey, if I can reach out, talk, call me. I want that connection, that professional friendliness, if you want to call it that, so you understand I'm there to help them no matter what. So a lot of it is, when you give that confidence, I can walk away, I did my best, I'll do the same thing tomorrow, and the next day, and next day. I call my patients, try to, 90% of the time I try to call them that night or the next day. How are you doing? What's going on? How are you feeling today? I'm not open on Sunday on the Sabbath. I'm not open. If someone's in severe pain enough, I'll see them on a Sunday. It depends on what they need. Because by them seeing me, they avoid, what's the average wait time in the emergency room right now, on the weekend, emergency room? What's the average wait time? 10 minutes, 20 minutes? About 3 hours. 3 hours. And what's the copay usually? Well, what's someone's, about $300. And sometimes the patients come in on Monday because they go, Doc should have called you. I go, well, what happened? Went to ER yesterday, spent 3 hours there, cost $300 from them tell me take some ibuprofen. I'm like, yeah, you waste your time. They come in my office, because I've seen them before too, they leave like, I spent 10 minutes here, and I'm better than I was yesterday. Depends what people need. But realize by giving them the option, that when you're desperate, what happens? We go into fight or flight, we go what we know, and we just go. Okay, I was born in a hospital. We would do medicine when we were kids. We go there first. Giving them the option of what I do allows them to realize, hey, look, I don't have to run to what I'm used to. I can call this guy instead. Or if you're a female doctor, call this girl instead. So, any questions so far? Is it Q&A time, or we good?
Yeah, just about whenever you're...
Okay. Last thing too, how much do you guys put on your schooling on social media? What? What's wrong with you guys? Why do you think social media is important to build up your brand, your reputation? Or why not? I don't know. Getting the high school quietness going on here. When I go on Instagram, because I have Instagram, oh, by the way, here's all my stuff. Blah, 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 blah. I'm anywhere. Okay. My thing is, I see students that are chiropractic school, med school, a dentist too, an optometrist. They're documenting their schooling, and they're doing a good job building up their brands. By the time they come out of school, they already know how to market themselves and to people they want to go to school with and what they want to do. So you're getting people to go on their Instagram, for one, or Instabook, whatever you want to call it. At that point, or Facebook, at that point, they're connecting with those people that already have jobs and what they want to do. They're picking their brain. I do a podcast called The Crooked Spine Show. I do that to connect with other health professionals in my area. Upland, Claremont, Cookham. I think I even have one PA I work with, physician assistant in Laverne. She's out in Laverne. At that point, I pick their brain of how to help my patients. Also, I steal all their followers. Literally, I steal them all. Instagram shuts me down like once a month. They tell me I can't do it anymore. We'll find whatever the next month. At that point, they see what I'm doing as a chiropractor in practice, because I post probably once a day. This will be another video too down the line, even a podcast too, of what I'm doing so they see what I do. Why do you think that's important? Or not? Maybe detrimental to my health, my practice. I don't know. It helps build up my reputation as a chiropractor. As a healthcare professional, as someone who works with other doctors, dentists, you name it. I did one podcast with someone who does crystals. Bridget. Because she helps people in certain ways. People trust her for her care. To help her with whatever they're dealing with. I'm doing one with a gym owner next weekend too. I'm doing one with an attorney too in about 2 weeks. I do those not only for content, but also show people what else you can look into to help yourself stay healthy. And again, I'm not a huge person on all this stuff, but it's information. When you put yourself as a student out to what you're doing now, you're building up your brand of what you're going through to get here. Your story. So down the line, you may need those followers, means people to actually talk to you. Hey, look, I'm doing this. Can you help me with this? I've talked to students at chiropractic school that are interested in coming out and helping me and volunteering and interning to find their next job. Because one's I think 2 semesters out and one is 6 semesters out. But they're interested, hey, how did you do this? I go, I have a phone. Usually I have a tripod, but my buddy he's an older guy, he's Herman, he's in, I think he's 76, 78. He had a cancer treatment this week, so he couldn't make it this week. He has all my video stuff. I'm like, oh, seniors, can't trust seniors. But a lot of it is, can you build up a reputation now as a student? Because that's what I do. I saw them on LinkedIn, I think, where I found them. A lot of it is, how do you find that way to market yourself, to communicate to people that you want to work with or work for or go to school with to make sure they understand who you are? When you do that, does that make you stand out? If you did that, I don't know if that's important to you or not. But if you want the few that actually do that, you can go, hey, this person's over here. That makes sense to me. If you want to work with patients or do publishing or figure out a way to communicate to people that can either hire you or you can hire down the line, is this a form of communication for people? Yeah. So why not start now? Then you have this week off, right? Go party, whatever you want to do. At that point, figure out a way, think in your head, can I start communicating what I'm doing now to more people on these things? I'd include LinkedIn, the same thing as just my name. It's on my cards too. Even this one will show up on the LinkedIn. But at that point, how do you find ways that are your next step after med school, after your schooling here too? Where are those people? What platform are they on? Because are they in the Yellow Pages probably? No. If you didn't know, they're not. So how do you get on wherever they are to connect with them now so that you know what they're doing? You know what doing recon is? It's doing your own research, preparing yourself. Where do you want to go and who's there? Talk to them, make friends with them. At that point, you're already in there, you're one foot in their door. Because you know their background, you know what they posted last week, last month. You know their last article they've done. So when you talk to them, you can even see their videos too, what they're talking about. You get to understand their language. Language, as you already know, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn is completely different on each platform. When I post every day, I change my headline for each platform. Because I understand what audience is looking for. At that point, I want to get in their head what I'm doing today for my office stuff. Any questions about that? When you do interviews now, if you're interviewing for, say, med school or whatever it is, even at the next step, how do you prepare yourself? What are you guys doing? Doing mock interviews, right? Okay. What is the mock interview? What's the number one or common thing that they work on with you? Nothing. You guys are perfect. Awesome. What's a good thing that they talk about? Hey, how can you improve this?
More confidence.
Mm-hmm. What have you been doing for the last, if you went to this grad school, is about 2 years, correct? Did you go to, say, a 4-year degree beforehand? So that's 6 years. I'm not a big mathematician. And before that is probably high school, another 4 years. For some people 5, not me, but somebody else. And then before that, elementary school, junior high. So you've been in school for your whole life, basically. What's school require? This, book knowledge. Okay, put your head down. Read the material, learn it, interpret it, send it back to me. It doesn't teach you the self-confidence, social skills, and that aspect of what it takes to be the next step after you go to your next school, maybe med school or lab, whatever it is too. So my job in my office is to take my interns. I get interns that come in. I'll talk to them the first day like this. They say like 2 words. By the time they're done within 3 months, they're done in my office. They're chatterboxes. With a patient with me, I'm like, stop talking so much. But they've gained the confidence to realize, hey, I can talk to people. I go, I have them have them shadow me in the room with the patient. I go, okay, now Sally, do some therapy with Johnny on his neck or shoulder, whatever it is. And I come out and I go, I'll see Johnny in the back table. Hey, Johnny, how'd you do? She was very quiet. Great, something to work on. Okay, I said, next time, Sally, you walk in the room with Johnny, say, how's your day going? That's just, the therapy takes about 2 minutes with ultrasound or other stuff we do too. That takes time. I don't have time for that. That's other stuff. And it's just, I see like 45 people a day, right? Or every few hours. So at that point, I want them to talk to them, put them on the back table for some therapy, and then say, is there anything else I can help you with? Great, have a good day. Those 3 things are hard to learn on a repetitive, genuine, unconscious basis. So my job is to make sure an intern leaves my office. How do you gain that confidence and self-esteem to look him in the eye, smile? Do you smile when you do mock interns? Smile more. Smile more. When you smile, does it make the other person smile back at you? Again, like attracts like, it's communication skills. If the interviewer is talking at a loud voice, what do? What's a good response? Talk at a loud voice like they do. If they cross your legs, cross your legs. If they have different hand mannerisms, try to mimic some of that. If their tone of voice is, if their speed of voice speaking is fast, talk at a fast rate than you normally do. When you do that to someone who's interviewing, and I see patients every day, that shows, hey, that person's like me. I can trust that person. I can relate to that person. If you use certain terms that you don't really think of or use, try to use that same term when we repeat their question. So they understand, so they know that you understand what's going on. Okay? Number one thing too, with patients, if you see patients in the future, make sure you listen. I did a talk this last week with some seniors, again, we talked about before too. The one thing they complain about is not being heard. Of them talking, all of a sudden doctor interrupts them, and they walk out of the room and they're like, what the heck just happened? I said, can you not slap your doctor? I would. At least ask for a copay back if you can. That's what I would do. Anything else? I hope it gives you some hints when you're done with all of this school stuff. The experience you're doing now with the experience you're doing now is going to help a lot. Gain the experience, watch videos, talk to doctors, go and volunteer if you're going to be in healthcare with people. It helps a lot to volunteer. I really recommend that. That's it. Thank you.